Hello everybody, welcome to another video. My name's Infiniti and today we are going to be knitting the wicker stitch. It is a stitch that looks pretty similar to the knitted herringbone stitch, but it's worked a little bit differently. This pattern is a 2-row repeat and the resulting fabric is thick and spongy. It's also super stretchy, so it's nice for garments as well as blankets and accessories. It's also nice when you add a little fringe to it, kind of like the herringbone stitch. So without further ado, I'm going to jump right into this tutorial. Alright, for this pattern what we're going to do is we're going to start with the slip knot, and you're going to cast on in an odd increment, so literally any odd number will do. I believe for my swatch here I'm going to do 17 stitches. Alright, here I have 17 stitches, and I realized that my color choices were kind of poor today, so I got another needle that's a little darker, and we're going to begin to work this row. Alright, so for row 1, what we're going to do is we are going to slip this first stitch onto our right hand needle. Then we're going to skip a stitch, and we're going to knit into that next stitch from the back loop. And then we're going to come back and we're going to knit the stitch that we skipped. And then we're going to pull both loops off the needle. We are going to look at these two stitches. We're going to skip this first stitch. We are going to knit the next stitch in the back loop. Alright. And then we're going to knit that stitch that we skipped, and we're going to pull both stitches off the needle. And that's going to be our repeat across the entire pattern until we reach the last stitch. Alright, now we're down to the last two stitches of our row, and we are just going to repeat what we've been doing for the entire row, which is to skip this first stitch. We're going to knit the back loop of that other stitch, and then we're going to knit the stitch that we skipped. Alright, and this is what our first row looks like. It's the front side of our work. Now we're ready to move on to row 2. Row 2 is super easy because it is basically the reverse of what we just did for row 1. So for row 2, what we're going to do is we're going to slip the first stitch purlwise, just like that. Alright. And then what we're going to do is we are going to purl. We're going to skip this first stitch, and we're going to purl the second stitch. Alright, and then we're going to come back and we're going to purl that stitch that we skipped. Super easy, right? Let's zoom in. Alright, so that is skipping this first stitch, and then working into that second stitch we're going to purl. Alright, and then we're going to go back and work into that stitch that we skipped with another purl. And we're going to do that all the way across this row. Alright, so this is what the back of the work looks like. There's not much to it. It just looks like a bunch of weird garter stitching, okay? I'm not gonna lie, it looks weird. When you turn it over, you start to see this woven crisscrossing of stitches on the front, okay? So we are just going to continue to repeat rows 1 and 2. So you go behind the work and insert your needle, kind of purlwise actually. And you yarn over and you knit that stitch. Then you come back to the front and you knit that stitch that you skipped, like a normal stitch. And then you pull both loops off the hook, off the needle. Alright, so we're going to do that over and over again until we reach the end of the row. Alright, and if you keep repeating rows 1 and 2, you end up with a swatch or a project that looks like this. I love the woven texture of the stitches, and it was accomplished without a lot of complicated stitch work or cable needles. So it's a super fun stitch to get into if you're looking for something a little bit different for your next garment project or your next scarf. This stitch would look nice if you added fringe along the cast off edges as well. So just a little idea throwing out there, you know. Hopefully you enjoyed today's tutorial. If so, don't forget to leave this video a thumbs up. It helps other crafties to see my content across the YouTubes. If you want to see more content from me, you can check out my social media. I'm on kind of everything here and there. I am most active on Instagram. I post all kinds of behind the scenes stuff over there and on Telegram, so you know, you can check me out there. You can also check out my blog for more tips, tricks, and other tutorials. And until next time, guys, happy making.